With so many impressive beings on display in Invincible, it can be hard to keep track and power rank them all. So today, we're breaking down the 10 strongest characters in the show's entire universe so far, and showing exactly why each one deserves their spot. This list includes Earth's superheroes, Viltrumites, and every other dangerous alien. Let's start at the bottom and work our way up, starting with someone people may tend to forget about at times, Red Rush. Red Rush was one of the Guardians of the Globe and one of the few members who truly stood out in terms of raw ability. He's essentially the Invincible Universe's version of a speedster, similar to the Flash in other comic worlds. He wears a full red costume, doesn't rely on weapons, and focuses entirely on speed. Red Rush is the only one quick enough to react to Nolan's first lethal strike. He manages to intercept the attack and momentarily protect Immortal before anyone else understands what's going on. That alone shows just how far above normal heroes he was, but Red Rush suffers from one major issue: limited screen time. In both the comics and the show, we don't get to see the full extent of his abilities. His confrontation with Omni-Man is brutal and short-lived. While his speed is elite, he doesn't display the raw durability or destructive strength that others on this list show later. Because of that, even though he deserves respect among Earth's heroes, he lands at the bottom of our ranking. Moving up to number 9, we have Anissa. There aren't many female Viltrumites shown in the series, but Anissa makes a huge impact. The moment she appears, she's clearly one of the stronger members of the Viltrumite Empire. Her first appearance is on Earth, where she comes to confront Mark after Omni-Man abandons his post. She delivers the Empire's ultimatum and demonstrates her superiority by brutally overpowering Mark. At this point in the story, Mark is already one of the strongest beings on Earth, yet Anissa barely takes damage from him. That alone establishes her as a powerhouse. Her durability, experience, and combat skills place her firmly in the top 10. She can tank hits that would destroy most characters below her. That's why she is in the 9th spot. At number 8 is Craig. Craig is one of Thrag's underlings and a respected Viltrumite general. Like all Viltrumites, he relies on pure physical power. No weapons, just fists and excellent fighting abilities. We see him when he attempts to arrest Nolan, where he shows some impressive combat. While we don't get exact power comparisons, his rank and survival record suggest he's one of the stronger Viltrumites in the Empire. That is what gets him the well-deserved 8th position on this list. At number 7, we have Dinosaurus. Unlike the others, Dinosaurus is powerful not just because of strength, but because of intelligence. He is the alternate personality of David Anders and possesses both immense physical power and genius-level intellect. He has sharp claws and teeth capable of severely injuring powerful opponents, and he can physically compete with characters like Mark. But what truly sets him apart is his mind. Dinosaurus and Invincible have one of the most complicated relationships in the series, and it plays a huge role in understanding both of their characters. When they first meet, Dinosaurus doesn't see Invincible as a hero. He actually hates him. In Dinosaurus's mind, Invincible represents chaos. He believes that superheroes constantly interfere with what he sees as the natural order of the world. So instead of teaming up, Dinosaurus attacks him. The fight doesn't last long. Mark is physically stronger at this point and defeats him without too much trouble. Afterward, Dinosaurus transforms back into his human form, David Anders, and is taken to prison. But things don't end there. When Dinosaurus later blows up Las Vegas, Mark is furious. From his perspective, this is pure madness. Thousands of innocent lives at risk for no good reason. But Dinosaurus argues that Mark is looking at it the wrong way. He claims that short-term destruction can prevent much greater long-term disasters. Instead of fighting him again, Mark starts listening. After Las Vegas is destroyed, Mark begins to understand that Dinosaurus had calculated a larger benefit from the act. That realization changes everything. Mark makes the shocking decision to break Dinosaurus out of prison. From that point on, the two form an uneasy partnership. Dinosaurus points out that they are actually similar. They both want to save lives and improve the world. They just disagree on how far they're willing to go. When Mark becomes sick after exposure to the Scourge virus, Dinosaurus proves his loyalty. He works tirelessly to understand the illness and create a solution. He even goes as far as defying Thrag to protect Mark, which shows that, in his own way, he truly values their partnership. However, the alliance doesn't last. When Mark discovers Dinosaurus' plan to bomb the Arctic as part of another extreme strategy, he feels completely betrayed. He confronts him and harshly criticizes his thinking. In response, Dinosaurus stages Mark's death publicly to protect his reputation. In their final private conversation, Mark challenges Dinosaurus' logic and forces him to confront the flaws in his worldview. Realizing that his own delusions could cause even more harm, Dinosaurus ultimately asks Mark to kill him, choosing death over becoming a threat again. Though he can't match someone like Thrag in raw combat, his combination of strength and intelligence allows him to challenge nearly anyone. That's why he lands at number 7. At number 6 is Conquest. Conquest is considered by some the second strongest Viltrumite in the Empire. He's a legendary veteran and a true killing machine. When he first appears, he absolutely destroys Mark in one of the most brutal fights in the series. He shrugs off attacks and laughs while beating Mark and Oliver. His durability is absurd. Even after being defeated once, he regenerates and escapes captivity with ease. What makes him even more overpowered is his personality. Conquest is the purest embodiment of violence in the entire Viltrumite Empire. While most Viltrumites justify their actions through loyalty, duty, or belief in the Empire's mission, Conquest doesn't bother pretending. Like, he serves the Empire, but not because he believes in it. For him, the Viltrumite cause is simply an excuse. Like, what he truly loves is fighting, killing, causing pain. Victory isn't even the main goal. What excites him is resistance, the challenge of breaking someone strong, the thrill of pushing an opponent to their limit, and the satisfaction of watching hope disappear from their eyes. He is an experienced, battle-hardened veteran with overwhelming strength and skill. Every fight is entertainment to him. He treats opponents like toys, something to test and eventually destroy. During combat, he doesn't stay silent or focused in a cold way. Instead, he talks constantly. He mocks, insults, and taunts his enemies to get under their skin. He uses sarcasm and twisted praise to provoke stronger reactions. Conquest understands that emotional pain can make a fight more intense, so he often threatens the people his opponents care about just to push them further. This is seen clearly during his brutal confrontation with Invincible. Conquest constantly insults Mark, encouraging him to fight harder and abandon any hesitation. He laughs at Mark's grief, even while being beaten, even while his teeth are shattered and his skull is being crushed by repeated headbutts. Conquest continues grinning. His sense of humor never fully disappears. At one point, after being torn apart in battle, he casually remarks that he takes the good with the bad, treating extreme suffering like a minor inconvenience. He is cruel beyond measure, killing innocent people not for strategy, but to fuel more anger in his enemies. Still, he recognizes courage. He openly acknowledges Mark's bravery and even respects the efforts of Oliver and Adam Eve, and when he is finally defeated, he accepts it. No begging, no excuses. Beneath all the violence, though, there is something colder. In a rare, honest moment, Conquest admits he is tired. He has spent his life as nothing more than a weapon. Others fear him. He doesn't even have a true name, just a title and a purpose. Behind the laughter and brutality lies isolation and resentment. Conquest isn't just a soldier. He's what happens when endless war turns someone into a living weapon, driven by bloodlust and left empty when the fight is over. The only person he fears is Thrag. In his second battle with Mark, Conquest again nearly wins, but Mark ultimately kills him in a savage fight. Despite losing to the protagonist, Conquest's raw power and experience place him high on this list. At number 5, we have Omni-Man, Nolan Grayson. Nolan is one of the most powerful Viltrumites to ever live. He was strong enough to control entire units within the Empire. On Earth, he became the superhero Omni-Man and secretly murdered the Guardians of the Globe to weaken the planet. That alone proves his dominance. As Omni-Man, Nolan Grayson first appears to be the perfect hero. He is strong, confident, calm under pressure, and always ready to save the day. To the public, he represents safety. At home, he seems like a loving husband to Debbie and a proud father to Mark. He pushes Mark hard once his powers emerge, but that pressure feels like tough love. Underneath it all, though, his worldview reveals something deeper. Nolan believes a hero's duty is to save millions over thousands. That cold math reflects his Viltrumite upbringing, and it slowly creates tension inside his family. In truth, Nolan is a loyal soldier of the Viltrum Empire. Empire. Like most Viltrumites, he sees other species as weak and inferior. With near immortality and overwhelming strength, he views conquest as order. He does not think of himself as evil. He believes domination brings stability and progress. That belief allows him to commit atrocities without hesitation. When the Flaxans invade Earth, he responds by nearly wiping out their entire civilization. He shows no remorse. Later, he admits that while he loved Debbie, he viewed her as a pet. He even tells Mark he would kill him and have another son to continue the Empire's mission. In those moments, Nolan embodies the ruthless logic of Viltrum. Yet Earth changes him in ways he does not expect. After murdering the original Guardians of the Globe to weaken Earth's defenses, he appears disturbed by what he has done. He grows attached to human life. The simple routines, shared meals, and family moments he once dismissed as trivial. During his brutal fight with Mark, he insults his son for caring about Earth, but his anger feels forced, as if he is trying to convince himself. When he asks Mark what he will have in 500 years, Mark answers that he will still have his dad. That single statement breaks through Nolan's facade. Overcome with guilt, he abandons his mission and leaves Earth in tears rather than kill his son. In space, Nolan struggles with regret. His identity as a Viltrumite no longer feels whole. At one point, he even attempts to end his life by flying into a black hole. Instead, he rescues a group of Thraxans and becomes their protector. For the first time, he leads without conquest. When Viltrumites slaughter them, he feels grief he cannot explain. Mark helps him see that this is what he once refused to feel on Earth. While imprisoned, Nolan finally rejects blind loyalty to Viltrum. Through his friendship with Alan, he accepts that he has changed. He chooses to fight against the Empire, not out of duty, but out of love and a desire to make amends. His experience, leadership, and raw strength justify his place in the top 5. At number 4 is Alan the Alien. Alan the Alien starts off seeming relatively straightforward compared to the major powerhouses of the series, but his true strength lies in his ability to evolve. As a Unipan, he was genetically engineered for one purpose: to survive extreme conditions and adapt. His body is designed to respond to trauma by rebuilding itself stronger than before. Every near-death experience becomes fuel for growth. When Alan is brutally beaten by Viltrumites and left for dead, most would assume that's the end of him. Instead, he recovers and comes back dramatically more powerful. His strength, durability, and combat ability increase to the point where as he survives, he keeps improving. That constant adaptation and upward trajectory put Alan at number 4 for now. At number 3 is Invincible himself, Mark Grayson. Mark begins the series weaker than many heroes, but his growth is extraordinary. Mark Grayson, as Invincible, starts out as a classic young hero. He's brave, competitive, and driven by a strong moral code. He wants to do the right thing even when it costs him. At the same time, he's still a teenager trying to balance school, relationships, and a secret identity. Early on, he doubts himself. He doesn't believe he's strong enough to live up to Omni-Man's legacy, let alone surpass it. When he learns the truth about his father and the Viltrumite Empire, that doubt turns into something heavier. Mark becomes more serious and reflective, but he does not quit. If anything, he commits harder to protecting Earth. Still, he struggles under the weight of Omni-Man's crimes. Veteran heroes like Darkwing 2 and the Immortal treat him with suspicion. He throws himself into hero work to prove he is not his father, but in doing so, he grows distant from his mother and isolates himself emotionally. Mark's greatest strength is also his greatest flaw. He refuses to kill unless there is no other option. He tries to subdue enemies instead of executing them. That hesitation nearly cost him his life against powerful Viltrumites like Thula. When pushed to the edge, though, his restraint cracks. When his loved ones are threatened by Angstrom Levy or Conquest, his rage takes over. After surviving Conquest and witnessing the scale of destruction during the Invincible War, Mark's perspective shifts. He begins to accept that some threats may need to be ended permanently to protect the people he loves. His sense of justice is idealistic but often rigid. Cecil frequently challenges him, arguing that global security requires compromise, strategy, and sometimes morally gray decisions. Mark resists this view, seeing it as corruption. Their conflict escalates when Cecil uses extreme measures to contain him, damaging their trust and causing fractures within the Guardians of the Globe. Over time, especially after Cecil helps save him and Adam Eve during the Conquest battle, their relationship begins to mend. Mark also carries deep guilt. Through Powerplex, he confronts the human cost of his father's rampage in Chicago. Instead of fighting back, he tries to apologize and offer closure, but his words fail to ease the pain. During the Invincible War, seeing alternate versions of himself destroy Earth leaves him ashamed. He hesitates when the world needs him most. In the end, Mark is not defined by strength alone. He is defined by his struggle to balance mercy with survival, idealism with reality, and power with responsibility. Mark's steady growth and impressive feats place him firmly in the top 3. At number 2 is Battle Beast, a warrior born for combat. Battle Beast seeks worthy opponents across the cosmos. He uses weapons and can stand toe-to-toe with anyone. After helping defeat Ragnar's to ensure a fair fight, he battles Thrag for days. The fight is so intense that both warriors are nearly destroyed. In the end, Thrag wins, but only barely. If not for his strict code of honor, Battle Beast might have won. When you take something that we have Thrag, the Grand Regent of the Viltrumite Empire and the single strongest Viltrumite to ever live. Everything about Thrag represents the peak of Viltrumite evolution. He is not just powerful, he is the standard by which all other Viltrumites are measured. Thrag rose to power after the Viltrumite Civil War, a conflict that wiped out much of his own species. He did not inherit leadership, he earned it. He defeated every challenger who stood in his way and proved himself as the Empire's undisputed ruler. In a society built entirely on strength, that alone says everything. Viltrumites respect power above all else, and Thrag has more of it than anyone. Physically, he surpasses every other character in the series. His raw strength exceeds Nolan's. His durability allows him to survive wounds that would kill nearly any other Viltrumite. His stamina in battle is unmatched. When he fights, it is not reckless aggression, it is controlled domination. He understands how to apply pressure, how to outlast opponents, and how to break them both physically and mentally. He kills Nolan. He battles Battle Beast Yunosuke Yinaiksorich Dojiri. It's one of the most ferocious warriors in the universe. In a fight so brutal, it pushes both of them beyond their limits. Even after sustaining catastrophic injuries, Thrag continues fighting until he wins. That level of endurance alone places him in a different tier. Beyond strength, Thrag possesses a sharp, tactical mind. He rebuilds the Viltrumite population. He plans for long-term domination. He understands fear, loyalty, and power better than anyone. Thrag is not just the strongest character in Invincible. He is the ultimate embodiment of Viltrumite supremacy, the final benchmark that every other powerhouse fails to surpass. And that's our breakdown of the strongest characters in Invincible. From brutal Viltrumite warriors to conflicted heroes fighting their own limits, each of these characters shows that strength isn't just about power. It's about will, survival, and the choices they make when everything is on the line. If you enjoyed this breakdown, make sure to like the video, subscribe for more deep dives into Invincible, and let me know in the comments who you think truly deserves the #1 spot.